Hello, friends, and welcome back to lesson number 4, Mobilization of Resources. This is the fourth video. In the previous video 4C, we have seen about welfarism. Okay, how welfarism is a socio-economic philosophy through which the government aims to bring about redistribution of wealth and resources from affluent to the marginalized sections of society. However, it is easier said than done. We have seen about various welfare schemes also of the government, but practically speaking, it is very difficult to implement welfarism on ground. There are various challenges. So, in this video, we are going to study about what are the various challenges in implementing the welfarism. The first challenge is the resource disparity. As we know that the wealth and income, they are not equally distributed, so there is an income and wealth inequality which impedes equitable distribution of resources. So already the endowment of wealth or income is, or resources for that matter, is not homogeneous. So there is a disparity, there is an inequality when it comes to that, and therefore in order to reallocate resource from one place to the other or from one person to the other is not that easy. So example of this is that richer states like Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, they have better welfare outcomes compared to Bihar or UP because they are well endowed. So it is you can see a better welfare outcomes there because of resources that are available there with them. Then the next one is inefficiency in implementation. I have been repeatedly telling you that we have a lot of good schemes in our country, but the devil lies in the implementation. Okay, this is the biggest problem because on ground implementation is is difficult. It has a lot of issues also. So one of them is bureaucratic delays. Babu Dam, Babu Giri. So bureaucratic delays are there. They'll take several days to process the files, and the benefit to actually reach the beneficiary, it takes a lot of time. So there is bureaucratic delays. There are corruption. There are leakages in welfare delivery system which reduce the effectiveness of the scheme. Then middlemen, they often siphon off funds meant for beneficiaries. For example, take example of NSAP, which is National Social Assistance Program. Say there is an 80-year-old woman who is supposed to get the old age pension, and the, say for example, old age pension is 1000 rupees per month. But instead of giving that money to this old woman, the middleman who is distributing that pension to the old woman will keep that money with him only and not give it to the old woman. So they will siphon off the funds which are meant for the beneficiaries. So this kind of things do happen on ground, and this is one of the biggest reasons why there is so much of inefficiency in implementation of various schemes which have very good intention but not able to show results on ground. Third one is the targeting issues. Targeting issues meaning, for example, if one welfare scheme is targeted to a particular sections of society, then we may not be able to have included all the people who are eligible. For example, there is one scheme, again let us take example of old age pension. Okay, old age pension. So say old age pension is supposed to be given to anybody who is 60 plus years of age. So practically speaking, not everybody who is eligible and also above 60 years of age gets this old age pension because of several issues. So there are exclusion when it comes to welfare schemes. Similarly, there are inclusion errors also. Somebody who is not even 60 years of age, who is not eligible to get this pension, will get the pension because he has pulled some strings in the system and he is able to manage to get his name in the list. So these are exclusion errors and inclusion errors. So exclusion error mean eligible people are left out, and inclusion errors means ineligible people avail the benefits, and this undermines the welfare objectives. Lack of updated and accurate data exacerbates this issue. So we also don't have accurate data also of the people, so that we know who are the actual beneficiaries and who should be given the benefit. Then there are fiscal constraints also. So we don't have unlimited budget. India's welfare commitments stretch public finances, leading to rising fiscal deficit. So, giving money for towards the National Food Security Act, then, towards various other welfare schemes like Manrega, education, health, National Social Assistance Program. So we need to have everything within the limited budget that we have, and we cannot have unlimited welfare schemes, because it is a strain on the public finances, the budget of the government, which leads to fiscal deficit also. And competing demands like infrastructure development limit resource allocation for welfare. So we also need to look at our infra development, we also need to look at our defense, we also need to look at our smart cities, we also need to look at modern infrastructure, railways, etc. So there is a competing demand. So the budget pie is this much, and we have to distribute it for various schemes. So we cannot have unlimited budget for the welfare schemes also. So that is one of the constraints. Then dependency culture. Excessive reliance on welfare discourages productivity and fosters dependency in certain sections of the population. Now we cannot make our people completely dependent on these welfare schemes, because human resources is also one of the important resources in the country. So we cannot make them idle, we cannot make them lazy, we cannot make them less productive, because they are simply dependent on the government. So we have to look from that point of view also. Then there are various administrative challenges. Okay, so here when we talk about administrative challenges, it does not mean corruption. So here there are actual administrative implementation challenges. For example, poor last mile connectivity, especially in rural areas, which limits the program reach. So there are certain areas deep within the forest where there is no road connectivity. So how can we expect that the benefits will reach those people? So there are various issues, practical issues also, administrative challenges to actually construct a hospital, say in a remote forest village. So that is one of the administrative challenges. Then lack of coordination among multiple agencies and overlapping schemes lead to inefficiencies. So maybe say old age people are covered under the National Social Assistance Program. They are also covered under some other say Pradhan Mantri Vay Vandana Yojana. So there are various schemes which may overlap, and because of this there may be inefficiencies in allocation of resources. Okay, so this is one of the issues. Then structural issues. So what are the various structural issues also we need to see? Caste is an issue in our country. Gender, regional disparities continue to create systemic barriers in achieving the universal welfare. So all these things are actually present. Structural issues meaning the issues which are not very easy to change, which are part of the structure of the economy or of the country. So these are the realities of our country: caste discrimination, gender discrimination, regional disparities, and it is not very easy to change this system. So therefore it also creates a kind of barrier for the welfare schemes to be implemented properly. Then technological barriers are obviously there. We have a lot of digital interventions like Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, Mobile, JAM, Trinity. Technological illiteracy and access gaps hinder inclusion. So there are a lot of people are still not very much digitally literate, and they are not able to get benefits of various government schemes which run through the digital or online platforms. Okay, so that is again another issue. Now what is the way forward? What can be the solution to this? So one of the solutions could be that we have to strengthen our governance. Obviously we have to increase transparency through digitization and real-time monitoring, use of technology to reduce corruption, basically use AI and ML, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning, for better targeting and fraud detection. So these technologies can be used to strengthen our governance. Then focus on universal basic services, like we have to invest in universal healthcare, education, public transport to complement welfare measures. So that even if we do this very basic things like healthcare, education and public transport, it can complement other welfare measures. Then resource optimization. So we have to optimize the resources. So improve tax compliance and expand the tax base to fund welfare programs. We have to optimize our tax resources also. Implement wealth and inheritance taxes to address the inequality. So this is another measure that is suggested. Then we can also think about public-private partnerships, like leveraging private sector efficiency to enhance welfare delivery. For example, it is done in Passport Seva Kendra. Okay, so it is privatized. given to a private company, and the service delivery has actually improved because of it, because of the efficiency. But let me tell you one thing here, that public private partnership is not always very beneficial. So it gives rise to another kind of leakages in the system, another kind of corruption, whereby the accountability is also hampered, because the private sector is not actually accountable to the common public directly. So they are only accountable to the appointing authority, the department which has given that that agency or that particular firm the the order to do that work. However, they are not directly answerable to the public, so that creates another kind of inefficiency in the system. Then promote self-reliance. So we have to have our welfare programs aligned to the skill development and employment generation. So this is very, very important. We just don't want to make our people lazy and idle and dependent on the government program, but we want to have welfare programs which will give them skills, which will give them good education, and which can generate employment for them. We have to strengthen federalism also, because most of these schemes are actually implemented by the state government and the local governments. So we have to encourage state governments to innovate welfare models tailored to the local needs, and also to better implement the the schemes of the government. Then community engagement, empower local communities and NGOs to participate in welfare delivery. This is another important way in which our welfarism can be better achieved. So, to summarize everything, we can say that India's welfarism is basically a balancing act between ensuring equity, equity on one hand, and maintaining the fiscal sustainability on the other hand. So we have to look at these two things. Addressing inefficiencies and leveraging technology can make these schemes more impactful and inclusive, that we have seen. So these are some of the solutions for achieving a better welfarism. In this we have seen one important point, that use of technology or digitization can be a means for achieving better results. So digitalization of economy is an important concept in resource mobilization also, and we'll look at it from the next video. Thank you.